Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dig into one of the most exciting but also one of the most misunderstood topics for anyone who's ever dreamed of starting their own thing, the idea of launching a business for free. But can you actually do it?
All right, let's just dive right in. This is the big question, isn't it? It's the one that stops so many amazing ideas dead in their tracks. This belief that you need some massive pile of cash just to get started, well, it's probably one of the biggest myths in the entire business world.
And hey, the good news is, it's more possible now than ever to start a legitimate money-making business with very little or even no cash up front. I mean, think about it. We're talking about brilliant ideas that are built on skills you probably already have. You could be an AI consultant, manage social media for small businesses, offer pet services. You could even create an online course. These are all real businesses, and you can get them off the ground with almost zero starting capital.
But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? The word free can be super misleading. Even if you don't need a huge loan from the bank, every single business has a price tag. So let's pull back the curtain and see what those real costs actually look like.
So this is where it gets really interesting. You have to understand the gap between the promise and the reality. Take dropshipping, for example. The promise is incredible, right? Sell stuff without ever touching the inventory. But the reality? Well, you've got platform fees, you've got to spend real money on marketing to find customers, and you better be ordering samples to make sure you're not selling total junk. Or what about blogging? Sure, you can start one for free, but if you want anyone to actually read it, you're going to be paying for web hosting, email marketing tools, and oh yeah, investing hundreds of hours of your own time, which is absolutely not free.
You know, an entrepreneur on Reddit just completely hit the nail on the head with this. It really gets to the core of the mindset you need. If your focus is just on what can I sell to make a quick buck, you're already behind. The businesses that truly succeed are built on solving a real problem for real people. And that requires a genuine investment of your time, your brain power, and yeah, usually at least a little bit of money.
And when you actually start listing things out, that free business starts to look, well, kind of expensive. You've got these one-time costs, like getting legally registered. That can be a few $100 right there. Then you have the recurring monthly costs for things like your website hosting and any software you need. All of a sudden, that no-cost idea has a very real budget attached to it.
Now, ignoring these costs doesn't just make your life harder. It leads you straight into the path of the single biggest threat any new company faces. This right here. This is the silent killer of startups.
It's got a fancy name, undercapitalization, but the concept is brutally simple. It just means you don't have enough cash to run your business, to grow your business, or to handle a surprise expense. It is, without a doubt, an entrepreneur's absolute worst nightmare.
And look, you don't have to take my word for it. The data is pretty sobering. One major study found that a lack of capital, just not having enough money, was the direct reason that almost 40% of recent startups failed. Think about that for a second. That is a massive number.
You see, being underfunded sets off this devastating domino effect. First, you can't jump on new opportunities to grow. Then, you start struggling just to pay your bills. Since you can't afford to invest in marketing, your competitors start pulling ahead. And finally, with absolutely no financial cushion, one little unexpected problem can bring the whole thing crashing down.
Okay, so how do you avoid this trap? How do you sidestep this whole nightmare scenario? The key is actually really simple, but it is so powerful. You have to validate your idea before you start spending money.
Honestly, the single biggest mistake any founder can make is just assuming they know what customers want. It's so easy to do, but it leads to wasting your precious time, your money, and your energy building something that, in the end, nobody will actually pay for. Assumptions are the real enemy here.
But the great news is you can go to war with those assumptions without spending a single dime. You can do what's called a problem interview. The key here is to listen, not to sell. Don't ask, hey, would you buy my amazing new product? Ask, tell me about the last time you had this problem. What was so frustrating about it? You can also just listen to conversations happening online on places like Reddit or in Facebook groups. You can even build a dead simple landing page to see if people will give you their email address. These things give you real-world data, not just guesses. Okay, so once you've proven that people actually want what you're thinking of building, then and only then can you create a launch plan that actually fits your budget. So let's break down what this looks like at 3 different levels.
First up, the big one, the true $0 launch. And yes, it absolutely can be done, but it takes a very specific focus.
If you literally have no savings, this is without a doubt the smartest way to start. The focus here has to be on a service-based business, where you are selling your skills and your hours, not a physical product. The core idea is simple. Trade your time for money. You use the tools you already own, your phone, your social media accounts, and the money you make from your very first client is what you then use to pay for your first business expense. This is pure hustle, just turning your skills directly into cash.
Okay, but what if you've managed to stash away a little bit of cash? Let's see what a $500 budget can unlock for you.
A budget like this really opens the door to looking much more professional, right from the get-go. You can buy your own custom domain name, you can pay for a year of decent web hosting, and you could even run a small, super targeted ad campaign to test out your marketing. This is the step that takes you from just trading your time to building a real, scalable business on a proper platform, all while keeping your financial risk incredibly low. It's all about creating that credible foundation so you look like a serious business from day one.
And finally, let's talk about the $1,000 budget. This is where you can really start to accelerate your launch and build something strong, fast. This budget is all about speed and credibility. It gives you enough cash to actually test out a physical product by ordering a small batch of inventory. You could hire a freelance designer to create a professional logo that builds trust instantly. And you can make the whole thing official by forming a simple LLC, which gives you personal protection. This isn't just about starting anymore. It's about launching with real momentum and giving yourself the best possible chance to hit the ground running.
But look, at the end of the day, whether your budget is $0, $500, or $1,000, the most important takeaway is this. Your most valuable asset is not what's in your bank account. It's your willingness to learn, to test your ideas, and to adapt when you're wrong. That is the real investment.
So let's just end by completely reframing that first question we asked. Instead of asking yourself, how much money do I need? The real question, the better question you should be asking yourself is this one right here. What's the one problem that you're truly passionate about solving for other people? Start there. If you can answer that, you're already on the right path.